let's get started. I am so excited because today it's the inaugural meeting of our Holistic Health Book Club, a book that I absolutely love, and we will do a lot more of this. And here we go. So please let me know, either unmuting yourself or writing in the chat box. You can see the shared screen called Holistic Health and Healing Book Club Meeting. Can you see that slides? Please somebody write in the chat box or unmute and let me know. So what are we going to discuss today? So today we will be talking about, again, let me show you this book because I just can't stop showing you this book. This is fabulous. The Blue Zones, 9 Lessons for Living Longer. And this is by somebody called Dan Buettner. And believe me or not, by doing this concept, this huge project of Blue Zones, what has happened is his life has become equivalent to Blue Zones itself. Because if we talk about Dan Buettner, if you just Google search, it will come up Dan Buettner Blue Zones. So what he did, I will give you, okay, let me go ahead and give him an introduction. Okay. So before I give the introduction to Dan Buettner, what is the purpose and mission of this book club? See, we all in this journey of holistic health and healing, we all have our goals of achieving our peak health, right? Lots of the times, most of the times, we understand that a way to reach there are two things. One is the right resources, and the second thing is the right support, the right community. Now, oftentimes what happens is we either have one of the two. We either have right resources, but we don't have anybody to support, or we have the right support, but we don't have the right resources. So my purpose to bring all of you together in this group, in this holistic healing group. So now that I have brought you guys in the group, the reason is so that I can be that bridge where I can give the resources and also provide the community of like-minded people coming together from different parts of India and different parts of the world even, right? So these books, which are, of course, my interest is holistic health and healing, and it includes health, physical health. The second layer is the subtle layer, right? The psychological, emotional layer, that layer. And the third layer is the spiritual layer. So how can we be holistically healthy in all 3 layers of our life so that we can have both of these 2 support systems in place? One is the resources and the community. The book club is one first venture like that. And I know that there are people in this group who have seen me doing other webinars, other events before, where I have brought people together with Ayurveda, yoga, and things like that. Book club is something I'm doing it for the first time. So I really appreciate you guys to be a witness of that very first inaugural book club. My goal, the mission and vision of this book club is we will study together every week, one book. You don't have to read it. I will bring together the summary and present it in front of you. We will have a discussion towards the end and all of that. Every week, let's dream big. If we can or cannot, we will figure out. But why don't we start with something big, like at least dreaming big, right? If we start with dreaming small, we will always achieve small. But if we start with dreaming big, we can achieve to somewhere decent place, right? So my goal is to meet every week during this time. And this time I chose the book because I didn't have much time to arrange before the call. Next time I will share a poll. I will share 3 books. You can poll which one you would like to hear. Or you can suggest, I will give a Google Doc where you can suggest some book yourself, and we will pick and choose and present, and we will come together as a community, okay? So this is the mission of this thing, and just to support each other in our journey of holistic health, reaching the optimal health, right? Some of you are working with me. Some of you have been working with me for a long time. Some of you have seen with me, taken classes with me before, yoga class or something like this. But let's all come together and share our the common goal, right? So we will be talking again 9 lessons for living longer, which is also living together as a community is one of these assets of living longer. We will see that later. Now, I know that we are already a few minutes late, 15 minutes went over. So maybe we can do the icebreaker the round of introduction later on if people are interested in that. I hope people will be okay with me just getting started, and we can do the introduction and getting to know each other towards the later part. Is that okay with everyone? Am I sounds like a good plan? Can we get started with the topic? I would love for you to share at least one takeaway that you want to learn from this meeting. Okay, just be prepared to share that you would like. Maybe you can type in the chat box also what is your one key takeaway that you want to take away from this discussion. Okay, we will see. We will try to wrap it up by 7:15 Indian time, which is in another half an hour. Okay, so towards the end, I would also encourage in our icebreaker session to just share what was the most exciting thing that came out during this discussion for you as the main interesting thing for you. Okay, please be ready to share that as well. I would love for you to share that. Okay, so moving forward with that, first I will introduce you what are the blue zones, right? What are the areas in the world which are called known as blue zones? Then key concepts and principles. Okay, in-depth look at each blue zone. In-depth look meaning, so how the book goes is that the author Dan Buettner, he goes and explores these different blue zones that he has identified where people live on an average more than 100 years, and he has tried to understand what are the key characteristics among the people of that region. So he interviewed the people, and he actually learned from them what they think are the main reasons that keep them so vibrant, so lively, so full of prana, right? Prana. What are the things? So he accumulated for every region some of the things that he interviewed and learned, okay, from that particular area, from that particular interviewees. Then interactive discussion. So like I said, I would love for you to share what are the things that stood out for you, whether you agree with it or whether you think it's possible for you to apply one or more of these things or not. Practical applications, right? How to incorporate the blue zone habits in our own life, because that's the most important thing, right? If we cannot apply anything in our practical life, in my holistic healing sessions, I always say the one-to-one sessions are only 30% of the learning. The applications are the rest 70%. So let's hope that you will apply something what we learned today. And closing remarks and next steps. So closing remarks, I will talk about the plan for the next week and things like that. And I have one bonus gift. Since you have taken the time for joining this meeting today and giving your valuable time to this community building, I have a gift for just you guys who have joined here live. Okay, so please type in the chat box at least your name, first name and last name initial, so I understand who are the people who are in the call, because I see some numbers in the chat box. So please write your first name, and you can text me directly if you would like, no problem. And I will give you guys a gift towards the end, which is based on this discussion meeting. So moving forward, about the author Dan Buettner. So biography. So the biography of Dan Buettner is, he is a National Geographic, which is Nat Geo. He's a National Geographic Fellow and New York Times best-selling author, known for his research on blue zones, areas where people live significantly longer. Okay, areas where people live significantly longer. So what I'm saying is, I told you that his life became equivalent to the project he started several years ago, 2 decades ago, I think. So he is known for this now, the blue zones, which is the zones in the world where people live significantly longer, centenarian, more than 100 years, right? Work and impact, extensive research on longevity and wellness. He has his website called www.bluezones.com. Don't go there now. I know you will be feeling tempted to go there now. Don't go, because you will lose focus here. So please don't go. www.bluezones.com. You will find his whole life's work into that website. You can find books, you can find documentaries, you can find many other things in there. Okay. And influence on public health and wellness programs worldwide, because based on his whole life's work, like I have dedicated my life for holistic health and healing wellness for others through means which are ancient, combining with the modern tools, right? Similarly, he dedicated his entire life on this one project of figuring out why do people live longer. more than 100 years. Okay, so this is Dan Buettner for you. He's a photographer, traveler, explorer, interviewer, and a Nat Geo Fellow, National Geographic Fellow, which automatically tells him that he is an explorer. He wants to explore the world. So, with that much introduction, let's move on. Introduction to blue zones. Regions of the world where people live longer and healthier lives than average. Criteria for identification. Criteria for identification is high concentration of centenarians. Every single time I try to speak that word. Centenarians. Low rates of chronic disease. High quality of life in older age. See, when we say what is health, my goal is this. Not just when our body is functioning at a younger age with more resources. The more we go through life, the more we go through years, it starts deteriorating, right? By the natural wear and tear of our body. So the important thing of health is we take care things now, wherever we are, whatever our age is, we take care now, so we can prevent when we are getting older. Everybody will be getting older, right? So that when we are at that phase, we can still prevent some of the things that otherwise would have happened, right? High quality of life in older age. Low rates of chronic disease. Chronic disease. What are the chronic diseases? Some chronic diseases are obesity, hypothyroidism, PCOD for females, then like ovarian cysts, then there goes hypertension. Then it can be acute also, but I'm not saying that you will see more often. Diabetes, did I say diabetes? High cholesterol. Those are all things that can be handled well with diet and lifestyle and things like that. Okay, so he interviewed the people in those areas that why are you so healthy? What did you do differently, right? And map and overview. So these are the 5 areas, guys. Please take note. Sardinia in Italy. Okinawa in Japan, Loma Linda in California, USA, Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica, which is a Central American country, North America, South America, in between there is Central America. So Nicoya Peninsula, that's in Costa Rica, and Icaria in Greece. So these are the 5 zones which are falling under the blue zones region. And this is a map for you. I will pause here for a minute or so for you to take a look. 5 blue zones have the world's healthiest, happiest, and longest living populations. Can you guys see all of it? The chart I am showing now, the map. Okinawa in Japan, Icaria in Greece from Europe, Sardinia in Italy from Europe, then Nicoya Peninsula from Central America, Costa Rica, and Loma Linda, California, United States. I have been to California for 3 or 4 times already, but I have never gone to this Loma Linda. So, but anyway, beautiful place anyway, California. But Loma Linda, it's that place that comes in the 5 blue zones. Okay. Now you know what are the 5 blue zones. You might have your vacation calendar ready to visit one of these 5 blue zones, maybe in your next vacation. Japan is the closest, I think, from India. And then common characteristics of blue zones. These are beautiful, guys, because these are the things that came out as a common. What were the common characteristics of people who were in the blue zones and actually experiencing a life which is nowhere else on this planet? Nowhere else on the planet. What are the things? Diet and nutrition. For those of you who know me very well, they know how much importance I give on that. If our diet is not right, what is the use of medicine? If our diet is right, what is the need of medicine? Right? Physical activity. Not only diet. In Sanskrit we call ahara and vihara. Ahara means whatever we collect from outside world to ourselves, within ourselves, through our 5 sensory organs: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. Whatever we collect and gather and accumulate. So not just food, beverages, breath or air, and sensory perceptions are the ahar, the things that we collect inside. And diet here specifically is talking about the food, beverages, and the nutrition. Nutrition, you can think of it in a more general umbrella, right? So these were something very common. And this is again based on these guys, these gentlemen's several decades of work. I am not making it up. You can look it up yourself. I will share the resources towards the end. Most of the common things were, I am not saying their diets were vegetarian. Most of the regions, their diets were plant-based, predominantly plant-based, rich in vegetables, fruits, and whole grains. Whole grains meaning which are not refined. All right. Physical activity, natural movement integrated into daily life. Note the word natural movement. We don't have to do fancy things. We do not have to do fancy things. Natural movement, as simple as, for example, walking every single day for a specific amount of time if your body is allowing you to do so. No need to go to a gym or things like that to start with, I'm saying. Those who are already going, great, good for you. But those who have not started, walking is the easiest natural physical activity that we can get started with. So the common characteristics between these 5 regions was physical activity. Social connections. What we are doing here is a social connection, right? We are building a community of like-minded people. So strong family bonds and community ties to have a community, sense of community around you, right? Purpose and mindset. Mindset, our psychological health, which is our subtle layer of existence. So every living being has 3 layers of existence. Say, for example, human beings, 3 layers of existence. Physical layer, or the gross body, the physical layer that you can touch and feel and all that, made up of 5 Pancha Mahabhuta. Pancha Mahabhuta, earth, water, fire, air, and ether. The physical body, the mental emotional body, and the spiritual body. So that's the 3 layers of our existence. If you see here purpose and mindset, can you think about which of the 2 layers they are talking about? They are talking about the 2 layers, which is, one is psychological emotional, which is about the mindset, and the one is the purpose, the spiritual layer, the causal layer, the karmic layer, the layer of our spirit, the layer of our Atman, the layer of our Swadharma. What is our dharma? That the reason we are here on this planet. So that is the layer of our purpose layer. The causal layer is the soul layer. Okay. And there are environmental factors: clean environment, supportive community, and healthy lifestyle choices. Before I move on to the last part, let me quickly tell you, in my one-to-one sessions, I always say that mindset is the one thing that can make or break any illness. First thing is your mind, what we are fostering in my mind. If we have something that we are wanting to get rid of, or we want to heal ourselves from something, our mind first have to tell us that yes, you can. If our mind says that you cannot, there is a very beautiful saying which says, if you think you can and if you think you cannot, usually both are right. I will repeat this. If your mind says you can and if your mind says you cannot, usually both are right. So if we are about to heal ourselves from some imbalances, whatever is going on in our physical body, mental body, or our spiritual body, we have to have fostered the right mindset by specific tools of positive psychology, mantras, music, meditation, whatnot, so that every single cell of our body is vibrating with the spirit that I can. That's the first requirement. You see, that has been the common characteristics of people living beyond 100 years. This is common to all 5 of these blue zones here. All these blue zones people who lived longer than on an average 100 years, they had the right mindset and they were connected to their purpose. They were connected to their purpose, meaning they have a Swadharma. Swadharma means what they are born for. What they are born for to do, right? To connect to their higher purpose in this life. Otherwise we are just like as good as an animal. We are here to live, to eat, to reproduce, and we die. So the having a higher purpose, what is my true potential, or what are my superpowers, to figure out that. That's why to boost the psychological layer, the mental emotional layer, and the causal layer, spiritual layer, is one of the fundamental things I work on in my one-to-one holistic healing programs also, because we need to have a purpose. Just 2 minutes before, just literally coming before the book club, I had a meeting. I told the exact same thing. Somebody wanted to have, they had a purpose and they want to connect with that. I said, exactly, that's the missing link. We have to connect with, first of all, we have to figure out what it is. Then we connect with it. Wherever we are at our life phase, we all have a purpose. We need to get to that. And environmental factors, meaning some things are not in our hands, like pollutants. The place we live in, the air quality of that place, we can contribute to this by driving less car, by walking to a place where we can walk, or cycling rather than emissioning from the gas and things like that. And some things are beyond our control, minimally under our control. Some things are more on our control, to foster, to nurture a supportive community, to make healthy lifestyle choices and all that. Those are under our control, right? What are the environmental factors? I have a master's degree in bioinformatics and genomics. And in genomics, there is a different omics science called epigenomics. Genomics talks about the totality of your gene content in your body, whatever you have inherited and expressed from your lineage. Then there is a whole other branch of science called epigenomics. Epi means like epicenter of an earthquake. Epi means towards the outer side. On top of. Epi mean on top of. So epigenomics means whatever is there on top of genomics, that decide whether a gene will get turned on or turned off. So even if we are born with some genetic things, which we had least control about, at least the person who is born, what they can do is to control their epigenomics. Epigenomics or epigenetics are the factors that contribute to the genomic expression, whether they will express or not. And what does epigenomic include? It includes the environment that exists around the body, in the cell, around the genes, around the chromosome. Whatever the environment is, on top of the genetic environment is the epigenomics. How do they bind with other proteins? And all that different epigenomic factors. You can just Google search Wikipedia, epigenomics. Okay, so many things are within our control. Many of us, we just play a role of on our luck that, oh, this is what we are born with. But guess what? We have epigenomics in our hand to decide whether that will trigger on, whether that gene will express on, or it will not trigger on. Okay. Deep dive into each blue zone. Deep dive into each blue zone. Sardinia, Italy. By the way, guys, here I mentioned what he discussed, what he when he interviewed, what do they found about their diet, lifestyle, and social structure. So I have briefly mentioned about those three things, but later on, I will have a summary slide where I will talk about all the 9 factors that came out of these 5 regions. Okay, that's called the Power 9. I will present to you the Power 9 towards the end. But for now, individual region wise, Sardinia, Italy. So diet is Mediterranean diet rich in olive oil, legumes, and wine. Lifestyle, shepherding lifestyle involves constant physical activity. Shepherds, like those who have the herd of sheep or cows or things like that. Shepherding lifestyle, meaning they were doing physical labor, manual labor, either doing farming or like raising animals, or doing farming with the help of animals, or agriculturing their own lands and things like that. Social structure, strong family values and respect for the elderly. I had lots of Italian friends when I was doing my PhD. My PhD advisor was Italian. So I had a lot of Italian friends, and I know that they love family, they love bonding, they love spending time with, like the loved and loved ones, and then respecting the elderly and all of that. So Okinawa, Japan, diet is plant-based diet with lots of tofu and sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes. Philosophy is ikigai, sense of purpose in life. That's their philosophy. Ikigai is a Japanese word, means life's purpose or life's worth. There is a book on ikigai too. Maybe we can have another book club on just that. So social life was Maoist. means lifelong friends and support networks, meaning someone that you can hold on to, that you can rely on. Okay. Loma Linda, California, USA. Their diet was mostly plant-based, mainly vegetarian. Religion is Seventh-day Adventist practices focused on rest and spirituality. Just like in Israel, there is a, or among the Israelis, there is a Hebrew culture called Shabbat, right? They work and then on Friday they do Shabbat, where every family, all the family members come together, they have dinner together. I have been part of that Shabbat dinners in traditional Israeli family homes also. So beautiful. So here they are talking about, for Loma Linda, California, they are talking about the Seventh-day Adventist practices focusing on rest and spirituality. So they have a faith-based practice, meaning they would go to the church, for example, every week together. They will have some sort of faith that they follow. Okay. And community is supportive and health conscious community. Supportive and health conscious community for Loma Linda. So continued, other two regions are Nicoya Peninsula from Costa Rica. So diet is beans, corn, squash. I had lots of Mexican friends and Latin American friends. I know how much they love beans and corn. I know this because I have been with them. I have had food that they have cooked. I myself have made some food like that, like guacamole and things like that, which is an avocado based, very fantastic mix that you make as a dip. Like you are eating some chips or things like that, like a tortilla chips or something. You dip it with the avocado thing called guacamole. You can make it at home very easy. Anyway, so they love beans. You can make it some beans dip also, like things like that. So they love beans, and it's Central American country, right? Costa Rica. So beans, corn, and squash, the three sisters of Mesoamerican agriculture. And water is calcium and magnesium rich water. So they are water. Family is focus on family and a positive outlook on life. Focus on family and a positive outlook on life, which is the Nicoya Peninsula. Again, so Latin American people are also very, very family oriented, very, very friends oriented. They love to party, they love to be together, they love to celebrate. Icaria, Greece. I had my postdoc mentor as from Greece. I have not been to Greece, but have very close association with Greek people and other friends also, of course, from Greece. So diet is Mediterranean diet with lots of vegetables, legumes, and olive oil. Lifestyle is relaxed pace of life, afternoon naps. Afternoon naps, they call it siesta. In Spain also, they call it siesta. But don't think that afternoon naps means they've ate the full belly of food, you just go to sleep. No, not like that. Afternoon naps with specific way. And community is strong social ties and community involvement. So you see, already by looking at this, by looking at these 5 regions, Sardinia, diet, lifestyle, social structure, Okinawa, diet, philosophy, social life, and Loma Linda, California, diet, religion, community, Nicoya Peninsula, Icaria, Greece. So all of this, you already see some sort of recurrent themes coming up, right? Some recurrent things that are there in many of these regions. So now, what is, as you see, the name of the book is Blue Zones, 9 Lessons for Living Longer. So you might think that, okay, so what are the 9 lessons then? Now we talked about the individual area wise, right? What are the different things that came out for the individual area? So based on that, the author presents something called the Power 9. Please write it down. The Power 9. What are the Power 9? What are the lessons that we learned that are common? We talked about a little bit at the beginning, right? But here we will see in more detail. This is called the Power 9. They are divided into 1, 2, 3, 4 categories. One is movement, right outlook on life, eating wisely, and connecting. These are the things that came out from the people of these 5 blue zones areas. So first is move naturally. We have to move our body to the point it allows us to, where we are making sure that we are celebrating what our body is capable of and not taking it as a punishment. Many people think of this very important thing I'm going to say now. Many people think exercise as something that they have to burn out for what they have eaten the day before or that very day early in the morning. Exercise is not a way to burn out your calories. Exercise is not a way to punish yourself, but rather it should be a way to celebrate what our body is capable of to the point it is, right? So moving naturally, just like I said, as simple as just walking, going out in the air and in the sunlight or in the cool breeze, just letting your body feel that air, feel that open space, so that it connects with the mother nature, because our body is nothing but, at the end of the day, the materials made up of 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. So let us move to the extent our body is allowing, because every single day is different. Whatever time of the life we are in, staying in that time, how can we move? There are ways I teach in my sessions that you can think of some things that you are moving. You can visualize that you are moving. Suppose your body is not able to move on a specific day for whatever reason. You can visualize that you are moving. For example, inhaling, exhaling, moving your body, curving your spine in the cat and cow pose, doing the sun salutations just by thinking about it. You can even think about that you are doing so and so and so. All right. So moving to the point your body is capable of. And if you cannot for a certain day, you can visualize that you are moving and you are out there in the sun, you are out there in the wind. We call it in Ayurveda, there is a technique called Vata Atapika. Vata Atapika Rasayana. Rasayana means to rejuvenate the body, rejuvenate the mind. Vata Atapika means to expose the body in Vata, means wind, and Atapa means sunlight. So a rejuvenating technique to recuperate our body by exposing it to wind and sunlight. There is a particular technique mentioned in the Shastras of Ayurveda, like Charaka Samhita, right? So moving naturally. Second one is the right outlook. What are the two things under the right outlook? We should have an ikigai. If we don't have our ikigai yet, if we are running life just like a mechanical way, we need to connect what our ikigai is. What our ikigai is as soon as possible. There are specific ways that you can ask yourself. One way is to ask yourself, what is the thing that you do the best? What is the thing that defines you as you? For example, my name is Deb Mallo. What is the unique set of qualities that define me as Deb Mallo? And to connect our life purpose with those strengths. That's when we will succeed. Whether it's our academic life or whether it's our professional life and things like that, right purpose. Then downshift. If you look at this green color here, there is another one called downshift, meaning just relax, take a break. Take a break. There are researchers who have found that compared to people who are working straight out without taking any break, like they are burning themselves out, compared to those people who are actually taking a break after every segment of time, they are doing better. It can be like taking a vacation every 2-3 months or so, taking holidays from your work for things like that, taking it easy. It can be on a day-to-day basis also. You do something for a stretch of time. We apply many techniques like Pomodoro technique and things like that. We do some things for a stretch of time. Then we take a break. We take a break, right? We take a break and then we come back again at it. But if you look at the bigger scheme of things, you are working straight in your job or things like that. Take a holiday, take a vacation for 5 days or things like that. 3 to 5 days, however is possible for you, or even longer maybe. So to downshift and take things easy, I call it all is well. All is well. Okay. Then the next category is the eat wisely category. So there are 3 components that fall in there, which is 80% rule. It's a Confucius, the Greek greatest, one of the greatest teachers of the whole existence, right? Confucius teaches, and in Japan they say hara hachibu. Please take note. Hara hachibu. Hara hachibu means stopping when your stomach is 80% full. And in Ayurveda, we have it too, 75% full. Leave something for the digestive juices, the air and the digestive fire to work on. So hara hachibu, it's one of the common things that many people told in those areas of blue zones. They don't stuff their stomach with food. They stop at a certain point of time. Then plant slant means slant towards, intent towards taking more plant-based diets, because how our bodies are made, the human bodies. I told some of you before that how our nails are, how our teeth are, how our intestine are, right? All of these things, we are supposed to eat plant-based diet. How our eyesights are, because lots of the animals who prey, who are carnivores, they prey, they hunt at night, they have great eyesight at night, but we don't. Owls have it, tigers, cats, the cat family have it, the jackals, wolves. So the wolves, they have it, right? So things like that. So plant slant, having mostly plant-based diet and trying to minimize the animal products, because they create toxins within our system, especially after the metabolism is done. Lots of the things can stay undigested, unmetabolized. Then wine at 5. This is very interesting. Wine at 5, by the way, red wine. So wine at 5 means it's not that they are asking you to go and buy the wine when it is already like 40 degrees Celsius and 85% humidity, and still you don't care. Wherever you are, you start drinking wine at 5. No, wine at 5, where was it? It was in Sardinia, right? We saw that wine was part of their enjoyment, part of their celebration. So in Ayurveda also, we have madhya, the alcoholic medicines, which work as a medicine, but of course with moderation, and for certain instances, for certain imbalances, we use wine as a medicine, like arishta, asava in Ayurveda. We have those medicines, and of course it enhances the mood, like the I think they call it polyphenols, if I'm not mistaken. That's that chemical within the wine that boosts the mood, but in a moderation, in the right amount, in the right place, by the right people. But what do I mean by the right people? I mean by the people who are used to have it, not that who does not have the habituation of having wine, they are just going and trying to shoot at it. No. Okay, so wine at 5, please take it with the right proper discernment. These holistic healing science is very easy to just go and say, okay, I attended a book meeting and then I learned that I have to drink wine at 5. No, not like that. Is it your satmyam? Is it your habituation? If yes, do you do it on a daily basis and your body is used to it? Yes. How much do you drink it? Drinking at a certain point. What kind of wine? What kind of alcoholic beverage? It's a red wine they talks about in the book. Okay. So wine at 5, meaning I would interpret this as according to your habituation of where you stay, what you are used to. You take for example, in Indians, many people will say chai. Have that gathering of the chai, meaning like they will take the chai as a celebration, as a ritual. Some people will go for adda. Adda is like some light moments, to spend some light moments and have a cup of chai. So chai is the central thing that connects people. So you see, might not be the chai. It's actually might be the good quality time spent that boosts their health. But chai works as the medium which brings the people together. So it might not be actually chai, the caffeine. It might be the people together and the joy of the mind which surpasses any ill effect of the caffeine. So there might be confounding factors in that. So keep in mind, for wine also, they might say wine, but it might not be the wine itself. It might be the celebration in which they are drinking wine, of people coming together, the lightness of the mind, lightness of the heart. They are all celebrating together, family coming together, friends coming together. Maybe that's why it is working, not necessarily for the wine. It's my further interpretation, right? So keep in mind. So let's not just take it as it is, but try to think through it. And the last part is 3 things falling under it. The last category is connect. In that connect, people have the right tribe. First, let's start with belong. Belong means connect to the roots of your faith. Whatever our faith is, faith means something that is beyond our control. when there will be a tsunami, when the next earthquake will happen, when the next volcanic eruption will happen. If people would have told that, science would have told it, then we could have saved thousands of massacre, right? But it's daiva, it's divine interference, right? So if we belong to some faith which is based on your choice, your roots, what happens is it lets us rise beyond, above and beyond our self limitations, above and beyond of our head, what we only know, what we know. It allows us to open with the faith. It allows us to open up many doors that are possible in our life. Loved ones first. Loved ones first meaning to have a solid foundation of family. To have a solid foundation of family. Loved ones first. Then, very important, it's the right tribe. All the blue zones, people told them almost without fail that they have the right tribe, meaning they were spending time with the right set of people. For example, if you are hanging out with 10 people and 9 of them are smoker except you, it's likely that you will also probably tend towards being a smoker. On the other hand, if you are hanging out with a group in a group of 10 and all the 9 other people are very health conscious, they have a purpose in life, they are very motivated, very positive and all that, we will also, the last person, I will also be tend to having influenced by that other 9. So however we are filling our circles, that is our right tribe, that will contribute to our health. In the meantime, when I am bringing in the other picture to share with you, in the meantime, you can start thinking of the power 9 that I told. What are the things that you think are easiest for you to just get started with, which will not take too much of a toll on you? Okay, so think of that. Okay, so blue zones, power 9. If you see, there is a reason why I wanted to show you this. The pyramids, what are the pyramids indicating? The pyramids are indicating that some things are foundations and some things come later. The foundations are to prioritize family at the end. What is the foundation at the bottom? To belong. What are the 3 things we learned? The belong. One is create a healthy social network, okay, which is find your right tribe. Then reconnect with religion, meaning belong, have a sense of belonging to the faith that you connect with. And prioritize family, meaning spend more quality times with loved ones. Prioritizing family to have a solid support system within our homes themselves, right? So belong is at the base of this pyramid. Next comes the next thing. Once that foundation is made, then comes eating wisely, which are eat until 80% full, hara hachi bu. Then more veggies, less meat and processed food. More veggies means more water-rich contents like fruits and vegetables, more fiber-rich content, fruits and vegetables, right? And less of the other ones. More organic, if you can access to those things which are organically made, if you know that from your own farm, that's great. If not, at least from trustable resources. Then comes in the pyramid, the third layer. In the third layer, in the third layer, there comes eating wisely. Okay, so eating wisely is eat until 80% full, hara hachibu, more veggies, less meat, processed food, and drink a glass of red wine each day. I will put it in quotes, meaning have the things that boosts your mood to the point in moderation, and only those that are in your habituation. How about that? In Ayurveda, we call it satmyam. Satmyam, your habituation. Okay. And the third layer is the right outlook. Third layer is the right outlook to know your purpose, which is our ikigai, and to downshift, work less, meaning stress less, not work less, stress less. Everything will be all right. Slow down, take vacations, go out and take some downtime. Downtime means where you are just doing nothing, but actually doing nothing, which is the hardest thing to do nothing. And the last thing is move naturally to the point your body is supporting you. Okay, so with that, I just want to say that you can feel free to unmute and share your thoughts if you would like to share something. Out of these 9 power 9, what are the things that you connect with and you feel that it's the easiest for you to just implement and get started with? Or if you have any questions, I can open up the floor for discussion. And the promise that I gave to each one of you who have joined, please send me a direct message so I can later on see the chat. I know who came, so I can find out your email and I can send you a gift, which is I have created an ebook on these blue zones, on this discussion, and the ebook contains some practical tips on each one of these power 9 habits. Each tip has 10, each power 9 characteristics has 10 practical tips that you can apply in your life. I have created that document as a gift from my side towards you, just because you have taken the time to come and join this community. Thank you so much. I think this is what I wanted to share. I hope that this book you can go ahead and read. By the way, if you want to see the documentary, there is a wonderful documentary that is made on this topic called Blue Zones, and the documentary can be found in that website, www.bluezones.com. You will find Dan Buettner has lots of resources. I think the Netflix documentary link can also be found there. If not, I will reshare in the group again, in the WhatsApp group. Do watch that, and I will share each one of you present here with that PDF ebook that I have created on this topic with some practical tips that we can do. Okay, so with that, I will just stop here on my end. I will take up some questions if you have any at this point. This is the main slide, by the way. The main slide in the sense, what are the 9 things? But very important is to think about that interpretation of the things. Okay, for example, wine at 5, depending on where you are at, what is your community, moderation, and what your body is habituated with. This wine can be your thing, your cup of tea. It can be your chai. It can be whatever, wherever you are, whichever part of the world you are. It can be your own thing that you are accustomed with. Your satmiyam is there. Okay. Any questions among the participants who are here? Feel free to unmute and ask the question. No hesitation. Or if you want to type your question in the chat box, that is also okay.
Is this recorded?
Yes, this is being recorded. Who is speaking?
Natalie.
Oh, hi, Natalie. Yes, this is recorded.
Hi.
Yes. I will be sharing the ebook to all the participants who are here. So if you have missed some parts, no problem.
Thank you.
No worries. Yeah, so I have a hand raised here. So I am asking you to unmute. So please unmute and ask the question. And please mention your name also. Who is speaking?
I'm Kishalay.
Oh, Kishola. Yes, go ahead.
So regarding the pyramid that
Yes, the pyramid.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I have a question that
Yes.
The intermediate 2 layers, right outlook and eat wisely.
Okay.
So if we don't have right outlook, then you said that if we eat wisely, in our sessions we have discussed this. That if you eat healthy things, but we don't have right outlook while we eat, then that food will not be as effective as the one who is eating with a positive outlook in the mind. So
Correct.
I was thinking, why not right outlook in the bottom and eat wisely above that?
Right. Because very good question, by the way. Thank you so much. I hope this will help other participants too. So, why I chose to show this diagram is because it's in the form of a pyramid. And in the pyramid, the bottom layers are the foundation and the top ones build on top of that, just like you said. For example, food is one of the basic necessities of our existence. What are the 3 basic necessities? Food, shelter, and your clothing, I would say, right? And of course, the partner and things like that for create the generation and things like that, that is coming next. But I'm just saying food is one of the basic necessities to sustain our life. Now think about this. There is a saying in I will say it in Bengali, and then I will translate in English. Khali pete dharma hoy na, right? Means when we are hungry, we cannot have the outlook, however sophisticated. It does not mean anything. There is a poem. It means that khali pete dharma hoy na means we cannot do our religious rituals if we are feeling hungry. So the basic thing is to have us fed. For example, there is a poem, right, by a very prominent Bengali poet called Shukanto Bhattacharya. He mentions that Purnimar Chand jano jhalsano ruti. Purnimar Chand jano jhalsano ruti. You are looking at this most beautiful full moon. You are looking and staring at the most beautiful full moon. But because you are hungry, you are feeling like that might be my roti, chapati that I can eat. Because your mind is not even in the right state of being to consider the moon as a source of inspiration, beauty, romance, whatnot. Because you are hungry inside. So having the food at our plate, at least 2 squares meal a day, is one of the basic things we need. Then only the outlook will come. Did I answer your question, Kishala?
Yes, perfectly.
Yes. So what I would say is that think of it like this. Once we have the food in our plates, on our plates, we need to make sure that what are we eating, how much. That's why hara hachibu falls in this, because as soon as the food is there with you, you have to know how much food shall we eat, how much food shall you not eat, what to eat, what not to eat based on your condition, your situation. Actually, there are 8 different things, and let me see. Yeah, there are 8 different things that constitute in Ayurvedic nutrition, and whoever works with me one-on-one, you guys know that I talk about this in details. The nature of the food, the processing of the food, the time of the food, the quantity, the habitat from where the food is coming and where you are living, the samyog, the combination of the food, what you are eating with what. Then upayog sanstha means dietetic guidelines, and the upayokta means consumer. So all of these 8 together, it comes in that second category. So it's not that it's just the food, it's food with that wisdom. Okay, that's the second layer. After that, you can bring in more sophisticacy. Okay, more sophisticacy. For example, move naturally is all the way at the top, because once your physiological needs are met, once you have a solid family, once you have a solid tribe, once you are connected to the roots of your faith, which is the lower bottom one, then you have the food on your plate, 2 squares meal a day, then you know how to eat wisely. Then comes the outlook. Okay, now that your basic needs are taken care of, how to look into bigger perspective, bigger things of life. Right? That's the right outlook. Know your purpose and all of that. And then last is move naturally, meaning many of the times in this, most of the cases in these 5 blue zones, people were living a life which is based out of agricultural farming. If you read the book or if you watch the documentary, you will see. You will find that most of the people were living out of agricultural farming. So they were by default, to gather their food in the second pyramid, they were by default working hard physically. So they don't need to exercise separately, because they were anyway doing it by their lifestyle. So that's why it came towards the end on the top as the most sophisticated, quote unquote sophisticated, in the sense ki, if your lifestyle is such that you live an active lifestyle and all of that, if your lifestyle is like that, then what happens is your movement automatically happens throughout the day. If you are doing some laborious work for your profession, then you don't need to have like a move naturally as a separate thing that you have to inculcate, because it's anyway happening. So that's why it depends on what kind of lifestyle we are leading. All right. So I would ask you guys as a homework to look up. I was thinking of, I have it downloaded for you, but I will not share it with you here. I will ask you to inspire you to look it up. Maslow's, please type it, write it down. Maslow's hierarchical pyramid of needs. Okay.
How do you spell that? Maslow's?
Yeah. MASLOW. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Okay. Go figure it out in that hierarchy of needs and see if you can map with that hierarchy.
I'm sorry, need. necesidades. NEEDS.
Yes, NEEDS. So what I will do is I will also type it in the chat box. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I typed it in the chat box for you guys. So just look it up and you will see how he has mentioned the pyramid of bottom one coming with psychological needs, then safety and security, then love and belonging, then self-esteem, then self-actualization or knowing my swadharma or ikigai and all that. Look at that and have that's another tool that I use very frequently. I'm giving it here also because I want you to connect with the pyramids, with that power 9 and that Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Okay, so we are way over time and I'm sorry for that. We took some extra time, but I hope this was very helpful for you guys to at least have everything together in one place. And I am planning to have this discussion maybe with more consciousness on the time. Every week, we will come together with discussing some things and sharing some resources relevant to this. But for today, whoever came live, I have notes and I will share the ebook that I have created for you guys on this topic of blue zones, 9 lessons for living longer. If you guys have not yet, do watch the documentary and let me know how you liked it. It's in Netflix called The Blue Zones or something like living more than 100 of things. Just type Netflix documentary Blue Zones Dan Buettner. It will come up. Or if you go to www.bluezones.com, in their resources, in one of the resource tab, you will find the documentary link. Okay. All right. So thank you so much, each one of you, for attending this inaugural session and being a part of this. And I would look forward to have this community and interaction and questions and all this. If you found this valuable, please do feel free to join us again and support each other in our journey of holistic health and healing. So much love to each one of you and namaste. Thank you so much. I will close the session now.